You're in the military when you're actually diagnosed with cancer?
Yes.
Walk me through this whole process, and if it's if there's anything you need to stop on or pause on, just let me know.
Yeah.
But I mean, this has got to be a traumatic experience for you, like getting diagnosed. How does it come about? And then walk me through the process of how this happens.
Yeah. So I actually had my cancer started on my foot. So I had a tumor on my foot, and every cancer starts with some sort of finding of a tumor is generally how they're found. I had a tumor on my foot that I guess at some point may have signified a mole. But by the time I had looked at it, it was really didn't signify a mole. It looked very weird. And I had seen this tumor grow significantly over a period of time, but I didn't want to get it looked at. I never saw the doctor in the military unless I had to or was getting vaccines. And I think maybe some can relate to this, but I never wanted to be sick, so I never wanted to address or I guess tell myself that I was sick enough to go to the doctor. But I was eventually forced by my husband to go get it looked at by a military doctor, and I was shooed out of his office. And this was approximately a year after I had noticed it, and it had started to have like internal feelings. Like it almost felt like it had a life of its own is how I described it. Or it was like, felt like it was wanting to itch out of its skin. Very weird. Definitely no longer felt or looked like a mole. So he finally forced me to go. I went, and then the doctor said, "It's nothing, get out of my office." And
was this a group PA or a doc in the big Army clinic?
Doc in the big Army clinic. And in Civ doctor. Yep. And I have empathy for him because I'm sure he sees things all the time that are more significant. But I think it's also important to note that I had already not wanted to go. And then I don't think he recognized who I was standing in his office of like, if I'm coming to you, it's probably important, not vice versa. Not I'm coming to you because this is my 40th visit for something that I don't have. So I had it looked at, shoot out of his office, and I said, awesome. I got the answer that I wanted. And now I'm good to go to continue on. And my military career was incredibly important to me. It was by far the most important to me. And it was my whole identity. And so I was like, oh, great, I got this answer that I wanted. And it took me another year to get it re-looked at after Tyler begged me again, please go get it looked at. And so it gets worse over the course of this year, obviously. Yes, yeah. And actually, I went to his dermatologist to help him. He is Irish, so he has tons of moles. So he gets moles removed all the time. This is also important. Skin cancer, melanoma and skin cancer are separate things, but also intertwined. But melanoma at its lowest stages, or even just regular, not normal skin cells, happen all the time. And melanoma is incredibly preventable if you catch it really early on. And most people, like 99% of people who have melanoma, are caught in this stage 1 because they notice something, they get it checked out, and they get it removed.
And that's just like a mole that looks raised in appearance? Or?
There's a bunch of characteristics, but it's color. A lot of it is identified by color. So super dark moles, or moles that have changed color over time, have abnormal borders that have grown large portions over small periods of time. But yeah, he has had moles removed for my whole experience with him. So I went with him to the doctor to get his moles removed, because they actually do go within a certain border of that abnormal cell. They find abnormal cells. And he said, before we left, I need you to look at her foot. And
wow.
Yeah.
And did he know immediately when looking at it?
So it was a female doc, but she said, Amanda, you, like, very seriously, she looked at my foot and said, you need to go get this looked at 100%. So,
did the military doctor even look at your foot?
He looked at my foot, but he literally was like, 1 second, sock off, 1 second, sock on.
Go back to work.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So you get looked at. I imagine a biopsy or something like that takes place, and then they detect it for cancer. And then what result do you get back?
Yeah, it was very strange, actually. So I had a first initial biopsy where they just take a little bit of the mole in order to get cells. I didn't hear back for 3 months. It took the military 3 months to get back to me. Okay,
so you go back to a military doctor.
Oh, yes. Sorry, yes, I skipped that. Yep. Yeah. So after dermatologist, I went back to a military doctor demanded a referral to a dermatologist at that point, because I was like, okay, well, now I'm sure that there's something wrong. So I got referral to dermatologist within the military, and he was like, Amanda, another, what the heck? Why didn't you get this looked at? And
did you tell him you had it looked at a year prior?
He said, no one should have let you out of your office with this.
Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah. And so he initially biopsied it, and then it took 3 months. He kept calling and said, like, just want to let you know, like, and it was for the first month he kept calling, and we haven't heard anything yet. I don't know how true that is. I haven't heard anything yet. And then I hadn't heard from him for 2 months. And in my eyes, I was like, no news, good news, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that's what we're told all the time.
Yeah.
And then I ended up with a voicemail that was left on my phone. And it was, hey, Amanda, you need to come in. I just need you to know that this is serious, and I need you to schedule an appointment as soon as possible, because they can't tell you it over the phone. Can't leave a voicemail with a diagnosis. Was put into his office. This is what we think it is. We're going to need to get you into surgery within the next month. So, and then I had a major foot and ankle and groin surgery to remove the tumor, skin, ligaments, fat, and then lymph nodes. Yeah.
Wow. And they made you wait for a period of time, like from the period of diagnosis and telling you, then there was a wait to get into surgery?
Oh yeah. It was like 30-day wait to get into surgery.
Because of scheduling?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the military. One of my snipers, Rich Day School, when I was his team sergeant, he was a Army sniper, or I'm sorry, a Marine Corps sniper. And he was shot in combat, saved by an 18 Delta Special Forces guy, became a sniper on my team as a Green Beret, and was very accomplished. And same thing, he went to the doctor and they did a chest x-ray and they said, yeah, you're good. And he had stage 4 cancer. And they could have early detected it a year in advance, but they just told me, yeah, whatever, like get back to work. And the scan, it would be apparent to every single radiologist who saw that was very much indicative of cancer, but they just obviously didn't pay attention. Because, not to say there's not good Army docs, I know a lot of them, especially on the special operations side, but there are a lot of, it's not exactly the tip of the spear when it comes to a lot of the medical professionals there. So you get this intrusive, I imagine, and traumatic surgery. What is the diagnosis post this experience? This is you said stage 2?
So at this point, it would have been stage 2, yes.
And what does that mean for people who don't understand?
It's all foggy, and it depends on the cancer that you have. But specifically to melanoma, stage 1 is basically just what your eye can see. That's how far the cancer has traveled. And then once it's gone outside of a certain number from the original cancer site, then it becomes stage 2. So if it's spread over a certain, like, I guess, space of your skin, then it's considered stage 2. And there's a huge jump from stage 2 to stage 3. Yeah. Because once it becomes stage 3, then it's a silent killer. Tyler's, my husband's, grandpa actually died from melanoma, and it's because of this, because it's so sneaky. It's one of those things that's your lymphatic system is what regulates your entire body, and shovels. It basically has complete control over your immune system, etc. So many people, I guess, are not necessarily aware of the difference between stage 2, stage 3, stage 1, stage 4. But once it's metastatic, or once it's traveling in your body, then it becomes stage 3. And then stage 4 is when it's traveled to an additional organ. So from skin to lung to brain. And that melanoma it's very often that you'll find it in the brain and in the lung in later stages of care. And so mine was it was an accelerated stage B, which they have gradings within stage 3. And yes, I had a doctor, the general surgeon maybe I just won't say, general surgeon who gave me my surgery, sat me down and said, this is going to lead to your demise.
He said that out loud?
He said that. And my husband and I looked at each other like, what, dude?
And this is a military doc? Oh, awesome.
Yeah. This is going to lead to your demise.
What does that even mean?
I mean, it's just
I would slap that dude in the face.